It's 24 minutes to 3 o'clock. Welcome back. Now, the trial against former President Jacob Zuma's architect, Minenhle Makhanya, began in camera today. The Special Investigating Unit is hoping to recoup 155 million rand in a civil claim after upgrades to Zuma's Nkandla home were found to have been excessive. eNCA reporter Lethiwe Mdluli is following those developments, joining us now live from our studios in Durban. Lethiwe, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. The trial against Minenhle Makhanya has now begun in camera. What can you tell us? What's the latest from this case?
Well, Braden, on the last minute today, this morning, when we were in courts and the proceedings were actually about to begin, we were told that the media cannot be inside and record some of those proceedings. And some of the reasons that we've been given as the media is that because of the witnesses giving testimony on the security measures that were implemented in Nkandla, they are saying that that will put a risk on the former president's security, and they have asked us not to attend those proceedings, and they will be heard in camera. I spoke to the special tribunal spokesperson, Selby Makgoto, who told us that because of those matters, the application that was made by the media to record those proceedings actually fell through, and they will be looking into how these proceedings will be actually made available to the public because it is of public interest. We do know that this case has been ongoing since 2014, since the former public protector, Lethiwe Mdluli, released a report that found that some of the prices for the Nkandla upgrades were inflated. And because the chief architect at that time, who is Minenhle Makhanya, was closely related to the former president, he was held liable for some of those costs and the inflation of those costs. I spoke to Makgoto earlier on, and these are the reasons he gave as to why we could not attend the case and some of the charges that Makhanya is facing.
Well, what is happening thus far is that this week, from today up until Friday, we have set down the matter for Mr. Minenhle Makhanya and the National Department of Public Works in the matter that is before the special tribunal sitting here in the Pietermaritzburg High Court. This actually emanates from the application by the Special Investigating Unit to review and set aside the 2009 decision to award the contract in relation to the security-related upgrades at the private residence of the former head of state, Mr. Jacob Zuma. It is submitted in the papers before the special tribunal that in 2009, the police and the South African National Defence Force, as soon as Mr. Zuma ascended to the presidency, had gone to Nkandla to do security-related upgrades and identify the features that were necessary to be included in those upgrades. The initial scope of work, according to the papers before us, was that it amounted to 27.9 million. But fast forward to 2013, it was in the region of 216 million. So there was an additional amount of 155 million, which is contested, that it is irregular, unlawful, and the contract, the manner in which it was awarded to Mr. Makhanya by the Department of Public Works also was not in compliance with the legislative prescripts governing procurement in the public institutions. So what will be happening here is that today we are having a trial. This matter actually was enrolled here in the Pietermaritzburg High Court on the 11th of August 2014. The trial initially was set down for 2019 in June. It could not go ahead, and last year it could not go ahead. So by agreement of the parties, the matter was transferred from the Pietermaritzburg High Court to the special tribunal. Already this year, we have had 3 case management meetings wherein we sat down with the lawyers for the SIU and Mr. Makhanya to try to identify and narrow down the issues so that when we get to the trial, we are sure that all the parties are ready.
It's going to be interesting what's going to happen next. Of course, currently, media was asked to leave that in-camera trial. We'll have to wait and see what happens. It is in the public interest for us to know exactly what this case entails.